Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I have a great game that I'm going to share with you. But before I start, I want to give you guys some context about what is happening in this game. So, I am playing against Devin Smith, and he has been having a great tournament. He was, after 8 rounds, he was on 7.5 points, and after 8 rounds, I was on 6.5. So going into the final round, I am paired against him. But this is actually working very well in my favor because if I win, we'll both be on 7.5 points, and then I will overtake him on direct encounter. And if he draws or wins, he's gonna win the tournament. So basically, this is a must-win game for me against Devon, who's on fire in the tournament. Now I'm having a pretty average tournament, but it's my final round and I'm in contention to win the tournament, so you can't really complain. But without further ado, let me take you right through the game. So I started with the move pawn to e4. I think if I'm in a must win game, this is definitely the way forward. Very aggressive, very attacking. And obviously, this is the choice I preferred. I was also considering, knight to f3, g3, and playing some sort of positional game, but I thought it would be a little bit better if I went for e4 and I went for a big attack. And also, I kind of prepared something here for Devon. So he played the move pawn to c5, which I'm very happy to see because a Sicilian defense very rarely ends in a draw. So I am very happy to see that he played this move pawn to c5. Now I continued with knight to f3 and he played knight to c6. Now I grab some space in the center here with pawn to d4. Takes, knight takes, and he played the move knight to f6, attacking my pawn. I play knight to c3 and now he plays pawn to e5. I'm not really sure of the name of this variation. I think it's Sheveshnikov or something like that, something along those lines. But I finished my round 8 very early. I was playing some guy from Northwest, Charlie. Oh yeah, Charlie. I was playing Charlie, but he blundered an exchange, so I won that game very early, and I was pretty confident I was going to play Devon. So I had a few hours to prepare something nice here for him. So I played knight b5. Obviously, I want to go knight to d6 check. So to counter that, he plays the move pawn to d6, which is protected by the queen and the bishop. And here I play bishop to g5 with the very important reason, you'll see shortly, that after a6 and b5, he is threatening b4, which would be a fork of my knights. So now I decide to take his knights so that I can stick my knights on d5. So that's the reason I played bishop to g5, all those moves previously. And here he takes with the pawn. One interesting thing, black cannot actually take with the queen and maintain their pawn structure because after knight d5 and I'm threatening knight c7, so queen d8, I can do this sacrifice with my bishop and it becomes almost impossible to defend this. And for example, let's say black does this, I actually get a checkmate like this, which has happened in an online game before. I remember I was playing one of the top female players in South Africa, Chloe Badenhorst, and it was an online game, and she took here with the queen, and I beat her shortly afterwards. So pawn takes is the main line for that reason. I still go knight to d5 because remember black is threatening pawn to b4. So knight to d5, and now comes f5. And we're still in mainline theory, yeah, by the way. But after takes, I think the main line, is still pawn to c3. And after bishop g7, I play knight to c2. And one interesting thing, yeah, that if you guys want to play this opening, a very nice trap that a lot of people fall for is if they play knight to e7, which a lot of people do, you can take this knight, and after queen takes, you hit them with boom, queen to f3, double attack on the rook and the bishop. And the amounts of people who have fallen for this, even in classical games, is crazy. So this is a trick you should keep in mind. That's why move order is very important here for black. Devon played the move castle, and now I play knight to e3. And I really like this position for me because I have a clamp down here on the d5 square. This is a backward pawn. This is an outpost. And here he plays the move bishop to e6. And now in this position, this is where my prep really started, because I knew if we go into Shaveshnikov variation, we're going to get to this position. So I knew that we would get to this position. And honestly, guys, this next move, I've never seen any top player play it. I'm looking here in the Masters database, and like nobody plays this, but I think it's such a great move. And I want to put a patent on this move. Get me a name for my opening. I want to call it the remover variation, something like that. The Dinham variation. We need to put a patent on this move. This needs to become my move because I've played this move like 4 or 5 times in the last 2 years. I played the move pawn to g4, and this is a very, very clever move. Basically, I'm counteracting black's plan. Black's plan in this position is to play f5, f4, e4, and start a massive attack on the king side. So by playing g4, I stopped black's only counterplay. And I could see that this move kind of flustered Devon because he spent a very long time thinking about his next move, and he chose to play knight e7, which is the best move in this position actually. And I just played bishop g2, keeping my clamp down on the d5 square. And my idea is very simple here. I want to play queen to d3 castle and eventually put a lot of pressure on this d6 pawn, which won't be very easy to defend. So I have a very simple plan here, and my moves are very natural. Whereas Devon has to come up with very precise things to keep his advantage. And if I put the engine on here, it does say 0,00, so dead draw, but black has to find some very accurate moves. So Devon decided to take my knight, and I took back with the bishop, and now comes rook to c8. And again, I have an option of trading bishops here, but I don't want to do that. Firstly, because my whole idea here is to put pressure on the d6 pawn, and if I trade bishops, I'm just going to allow him to play d5 and very easily protect his pawn. And secondly, I'm just opening his rook and his queen to come checkmate me. So exchanging bishops, although it looks good for white, is really not a good idea at all here. So instead, I've just played the move queen to d3. I'm continuing with my plan of castling and so forth. He played the move queen to f6. And now here I thought, okay, I have a tactic. You guys can pause and solve it if you want to. But I played the move bishop to e4, sliding out the way, attacking h7, and at the same time I'm attacking the pawn on d6. So this is just a double attack. And Devon decided to play the move pawn to h6, protecting his h-pawn. And now I took this pawn. And in this position, in a must-win game, I'm very, very happy because it's very unlikely that this game is going to end in a draw. And he played this move rook to d8, and I took here on a6. And this next move I didn't see at all. He really stunned me with this move. He played a great move in this position. He played the move rook to d2. Firstly, this is threatening checkmate. Also, I cannot even think about taking this rook because he will take on f2. And once I move my king anywhere, he will just take here and he's going to win this bishop. And I'm getting checkmated. So I definitely cannot think about taking that rook. So my first initial idea was just to play like either castle or rook to f1, defend my pawn. But after that, I feel like he's just gonna take on b2. Now my c3 pawn is hanging, and my two pawn advantage is looking rather meek after something like rook f1, for example, and he takes. Now he's gonna take on c3 next, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, it says black has a slightly better position. So I came up with this move, bishop to f5. Just, my idea is just to keep my options open. Now I am threatening to take his rook, and I can castle kingside, and I can still castle queenside. So really, I'm just keeping my options open. And now in this position, Devon played a move which looks very clever, but it's actually a mistake. He played the move rook to e2 check. And his idea is that if I take, he wants to play bishop c4 check, and he has a discovered attack on my queen. But I saw this and I just calculated ahead, and I took the rook anyway, because after bishop c4, I'm going to take this bishop. Queen takes queen, and at the end of this, I take his rook on c8 with my bishop. And here I just play knight back to e3, protecting my pawn on g4. And we have a very good game, and I'm very happy with this position. And surely I'm going to try make some sort of pass pawn and run this way. But okay, Devon played very accurately. Here, he played like the top moves all the way. He played the move pawn to b4, which is the best move because it opens many lines for his queen to check me, for example. But I decided to take this pawn on b4. Now queen to a6. I think I spent a very long time on this next move because I have to kind of decide what I want to do. I can either try run with my king this way, which would really lead to a lot of checks in the future, or I can do what I did in the game, king to f3, run with my king this way. Now he played pawn to e4 check. Obviously, I'm not going to take that pawn because that is asking to get like 1,000 checks. But I just played the move king to g2. Now Devon plays bishop takes b2. He now has an opportunity to win back all the pawns that I already won. And I play rook to d1. And he plays queen to e2, hoping for some check here on f3. Now, in this position, I decided to take my time and think because I have to be very precise, very accurate. And one thing that I should note is that if Devon ever exchanges this bishop for this knight, he's going to be in a great position because this knight is kind of the only thing holding my position together. It's defending the g4 pawn, and his bishop cannot really attack me because my king is on a light square. Also, I decided that if he does check me, I'm going to have to drop back with my king, obviously, and I don't want my rook to be stuck in the corner. So that's why in this position I played rook d8 check, and after king h7 I play rook d1, which firstly it blocks his only way to exchange my knights with like bishop to d4, and now after he checks me I can just play king to g1, and my rook is now on a very good square. It's not stuck in the corner. So he plays bishop to e5, trying to set up some sort of, some sort of battery here on the h file. So I played rook to d5. I kind of have to strike instantly. He plays rook to b8, and now I just decided to play b5, try push my pawn to the end because I was not concerned about any of his threats. So he played queen to f4. Obviously, he's threatening to take on h2, so I played rook to h5. Nice move defending h2 and also attacking h6. So yeah, he played bishop to a7, and he's trying to exchange my knights for his bishop. And obviously, like I mentioned before, this knight is crucial to holding my position together, so I can't really allow him to exchange. So I played now rook to f5, attacking his queen. Queen drops back to c7, and now I play knight to d5. And now whereas like 10 moves ago he was the one attacking me, suddenly all my pieces are on very good squares and I'm the one attacking now. So yeah, he played queen to c2, and I thought, I'm not in any hurry, I'm just gonna slide my rook over one square. He played queen to d2, and what is his idea here? I think if I take on d4, oh, he wants to take on f2 and then take my knights. I think this is his idea. Yeah, I think something like this would be his idea. Although this is actually fine for white. I wonder what his idea was here. Maybe there's something else. But yeah, I decided to play knight f6 check first and now take on e4, just being a little bit more accurate with my moves. And Devon played the move bishop to d4, attacking my knight. And I just played rook to f4. Now I'm not worried anymore if he decides to trade off, because I'm just winning in this position. So he took on a2, trying to win back his pawns, and now I just played knight to h5, trying to win this pawn on f7. He played bishop to e5, very sneaky move. I can't take this because he will hit me with queen a1 check and win my rook. So very sneaky move there, but I just dropped my rook back to f3. And queen b1 wins this pawn. But one thing to note is how safe my king is. He can't even touch my king at all. And I'm gonna take on f7, and his king is actually the one that's in danger. I'm very close. Like rook g7 would be a checkmate if it wasn't for this bishop. For example, like this would be checkmate. But yeah, he plays queen to c4, attacking my pawn on g4. So one other thing to notice is I'm not in any rush. I'm in no rush at all. I can play basically any move I want in this position and be winning. So I just play calm move h3, and he played queen to e4, trying to pin my rook. Now I played knight g3, just attacking his queen, bringing my knight back, and hopefully aiming for some sort of maybe h4 and checkmating him. But he played queen to a4, not allowing h4 because my g pawn would be hanging. So I played rook to e7, and I was actually struggling to find a move in this position. I was really struggling. I think I spent 10 to 15 minutes, and then I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna make a random move. Let me attack his bishop. Now he goes queen to b5 to protect his bishop, and he's no longer attacking the g4 square, so that allows me to play h4. This is threatening a checkmate, by the way, with pawn to h5, and let me say black makes a random move. Is there a checkmate here? There might not be, but I'll win a bishop anyway. So h4 is very dangerous. I'm threatening a lot of things. So he played the move pawn to h5. And now, if I take with the pawn, I'm really not really going to checkmate him. I really was considering this move pawn takes, but I'm in this position. I didn't really see checkmates. That was my issue. So I decided, you know what, let me just keep my pawn structure intact and take with the knight. Now comes queen to d5, and I just went rook to f7. I went back, just being very, very solid, protecting everything. Now he plays king to h6, and I just went knight back to g3. And you can see I'm really not doing anything. King g6, I went king h3. And this sort of pattern you see here with the knights and the king next to each other is a very, very powerful defense against the queen, as demonstrated in this game, because what are the only squares black can check me from? It's going to be f1 and h1 with the queen. But my knight covers both of those squares, so you can see how crucial it is knights and a king next to each other when defending against the queen. So yeah, he played queen to d1, maybe trying to play some bishop takes g3 and then check me. But here I played rook to f5. The idea is that he can't check me at all. He can't take this knight at all because he's gonna run into a checkmate, I believe. Oh yeah, easy checkmate, like this. So he doesn't have time to take the knight, is the point. So in this position, he played bishop to g7. It really is only move that is hanging on now. And now I played pawn h5, king h7, pawn g5. I'm just marching all my pawns again. My knight is protecting everything so beautifully. And he played king to g8. I play h6. And he played bishop to c3. One thing to note is that I didn't want to play rook g5 in this position, because after king h8, I'm gonna stalemate myself. Like this would be a stalemate. So a lot of people are asking me, why didn't you just play rook to g5? There's your reason. I don't want to stalemate myself. So I play pawn to g5, king to g8, pawn to h6, bishop c3, and now I play pawn to g6. And in this position, Devon resigned because I'm threatening checkmate with rook to f8. And if he decides to defend it like this, for example, I'll just play pawn to h7 and then rook to f8. And I'll make a queen and very shortly checkmate him. But okay. Oh, I should probably tell you guys the results of the tournament. So, at the end of the day, Devon and I, we both finished on 7.5 points out of 9. But unfortunately, direct encounter didn't work for me because another player also finished on 7.5. So, the direct encounter doesn't work if there's more than 2 players on the same score. So, Devon still won the tournament, which is very impressive. He won the tournament with the round to spare, but at least I took some rating points off him and restored some of my rating after a pretty poor start to the tournament. But okay, anyway, one more thing. I saw that in December on the YouTube channel, I've gained about like 30 subscribers and I haven't made a single video. So I decided, you know what, let me give the fans what they want. Let me make a video for you guys. Let me try catch the end of the December boom. And you guys might see more videos coming from me. Remember to subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And I'll see you guys in the next video.